Alright, so welcome back. Today we're going to do some stuff that I wanted to try to do in a while. So we are going to attempt at making our intercooling pipes and attaching things ourselves without using a welding gun. We're going to go more for the soldering brazing style. So hopefully it works and it doesn't screw up. If not, then we'll just have to send it out to someone to have it welded. Not a big deal. So let's just get on down here and get it working. All right, so I tested out with this bung for the air temperature. So far so good. Looks like it's holding up. I did put like a bolt in there and kind of crank on it a little bit to make sure it's not going anywhere. So worst case scenario, it just has to hold back 20 pounds, and pretty sure this is more than 20 pounds. So that should hopefully be good. Hopefully it's all sealed and we don't have to worry about that. So, on the next one, we got our piece for our blow-off valve. So that guy goes right there. And all that we got to do is start prepping this for the soldering run. So we got ourselves a stainless bristle brush, and we're just going to really mess up the surface here. Yeah, that's pretty well roughed up. This, I'm having a feeling like I'm going to regret something. So, let's use a pair of pliers or something here. Alright, well that got a little bit out of control like I was expecting. So yeah, that should be that. Now we just get her on there. Let's Alright. And I guess we just fire this thing up. call that there. That's not, seems like it's gonna be moving. Ooh, that's getting warm. All right, so that is that. I think I'm gonna wait for it to kind of cool off a little bit, and we can see how well it works. All right, so after a little bit of cleanup, I think we are doing halfway decent. Doesn't look horrible. It's not coming off. So, I guess we just throw it on there. And everyone put in your best to see how long it takes before this falls apart. Forever? A month? A week? 5 hours? Don't know. But at least it's an attempt at doing it yourself for pretty darn cheap. Maybe it can last long enough so if and when it actually breaks, I might actually have a TIG welder for it. So we got that, and we got this. We can shove this back on the car, and we are one step closer. All right, so before I worry about every last little thing, let's just test and see how worried I should be. So I went through and ran a solder braze, whatever you want to call it, across just a dirty piece of aluminum to a dirty piece of there, cleaned it up a little bit. It's only on one side. And then let's just, we are getting some of it peeling back, but there, we ended up ripping it off. But honestly, that's not that horrible of a Well, that was a sizable amount of effort on that, so hopefully we don't have that type of catastrophic failure on the car. Oh well, we'll worry about that at a later time. It's an experiment. If nothing else, then it's easily held in place for someone to hit it with a welder. But that should hopefully hold up for a day or two, and we can move on to something else. Kind of like trying to tackle fuel type stuff. So, first phase of fuel equipment has shown up. Got a big fuel filter. This is just a 30 micron, so it's not quite small enough, but I figure run it through this guy first and then through a 10 micron, and I'm guessing the sock boots on the actual pump are probably about 100. So you'll go through 100, through a 30, and then through a 10. That should keep everything really clean, and yeah. So we got that, and then we got our first section of hose. This is actually Teflon lined, so E85, alcohol, and that type of stuff, not a problem. And then of course that came with a whole bunch of little fittings. So we will try to figure out how to hook everything up. This fuel pressure regulator also came with a little pressure gauge, some sort of liquid filled thing, but we're just putting the transducer piece on there and calling it a day. Because once you get fuel pressure dialed in, you really don't need to look at it again. And the Holley system should track all that on its own. So I'll have all that. Little shut-off switch for the main tank going to the feed piece. So we might actually rig up a lever or something inside the cabin of the vehicle, so we can actually pull that and cut fuel from the main tank. It's like it won't cut all the fuel, but essentially if you cut off 20 gallons worth versus the 2 that are in the box, I think that's a pretty decent trade-off. And of course, the piece that goes into the tank of the Crossfire goes right in the bottom of that, all tapped and screwed in with the AN fitting. So we just are waiting on a few more parts to show up before we start playing around with that.